years, we served as Seat of Wisdom College. And in the mid-60s, we began to transition the place into a retreat and conference center and an interfaith retreat and conference center. So we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith and all good humanists to come here in search of wisdom. And that is the name that we really treasure here, because we use that term from the Hebrew scriptures, where Solomon speaks about God as divine wisdom, and wisdom which is found in creation, wisdom found at the table, and wisdom found in the arts. And these programs that we have been doing, our art and spirituality forums, are really part of finding wisdom in the arts, and actually finding wisdom in politics. And as I think of all of what churches are doing, churches are not far from being political organizations. And so I think we will learn an awful lot today. We'll have our minds tweaked and hopefully go home very enriched. So I welcome you here. For any other times you'd like to come back and visit us at Wisdom House. We are on 70 acres of land with artesian well water and with solar panels on the barn. You can't go wrong here. Meet some fine friends here that are also searching and being companions on our way. So with that as a brief introduction to this center, I want to introduce Sister JoAnn Iannotti, our Art and Spirituality Coordinator.
Good to see you all. When I was thinking about my introductory remarks for you today, I started thinking, well, like where to begin with this topic? Where to begin with this whole relationship between art and Wisdom House. And the words that really came to me are really very simple, and simply that Wisdom House and the arts is an ever expanding relationship. And so, if you don't mind, I'd just like to give you a quick little timeline from the time Rosemarie and I started working here together at Wisdom House up to today, and this whole relationship between the arts and Wisdom House. In 1993, some of you may remember either taking part in or just hearing that we were sponsoring a program called The Artist's Way. The book by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. We started offering that particular program in 1993, and by the time we stopped offering it here, because so many other places were beginning then to offer it as well, more than 400 artists, local artists, took that program here. So it was really the beginning of such a solid relationship between Wisdom House and local artists. In 1994, we began the Marie-Louise Trichet Art Gallery, which is a permanent art gallery on our premises, almost directly across from the chapel, where today you'll have the opportunity to see the opening of an exhibit by Susan Clenard, who is here, the third from your left, and Susan's exhibit is entitled Navigating the Human Landscape. And then we started offering programs, writing programs for adults and children. We had musical performances here, And then in 1999, every 2 years, we began this conversation among artists, because no one, and I don't think I'm wrong with this, no one stirs the human spirit like artists do. They may be called, they may be labeled outsiders, disturbers, but some are even called visionaries. And there will always be a sense of mystery about them and what they do. That's why when an ad appeared in the New York Times in early March, which we had framed and is all the way over to your right, that particular ad, which shows Picasso on the left, Andy Warhol on the right, and the simple words above it, imagine the conversation. When I saw that, I said, that's what we're about today. Couldn't help but think about today's program, about creating a conversation among artists, which began with, first of all, myself working with our art gallery, exhibition gallery committee, who worked with me all year in terms of choosing exhibits for the gallery. Two of whom are here. I know Harvey Offenhart's right here in the second row, and 2 rows behind him. Raise your hand, Harvey. And then Alan Colavecchio, and David Scora also hopes to join us. So these are the 3 men that I work with in terms of choosing exhibits for the gallery. And also, this is where the conversation begins every 2 years in terms of, well, what will we sponsor this year in terms of our theme? And although, you know, we didn't not possibly use the exact same words, the whole idea of imagining the conversation is what really goes through our mind as we think about people to invite to be part of the panel. So this wonderful topic of art and politics surfaced, and today you will see the conversation made flesh right up here from our chapel steps. And let's face it, the charged climate of politics that is evoked through politics is uniquely ours to experience at a time of a presidential election. And the panelists with us today, in a sense, are co-creators of this climate in their own individual environments, in their own individual ways, through their own individual gifts. And so they join a cohort of predecessors who have gone before them in terms of using their art and having an influence on the society in which they live. So that's the overarching umbrella of how we got to today. And so besides our panelists who will be led in conversation initiated today through our moderator, Jack Gilpin. Many of you know Jack from our previous programs here. And I always love, in terms of Jack's bio, which he says about himself, that he has acted on, off Broadway productions, you know, for many, many years. And he has also been featured in 25 feature films, programs on PBS as well as BBC. The TV roles that he's been involved in have brought him to appear on Law and Order, 30 Rock, The Good Wife, not to exclude even something called The Soaps. Jack was also involved with that early in his life. And his films include 21, Reversal of Fortune, and Quiz Show. You may know that about Jack, meeting him through your screen, but you may not know. You may not know that Jack also holds a Master of Divinity from Union Theological in New York City. He was ordained a priest in the Episcopal Church in 2012 and is presently priest in charge at St. John's Church in New Milford. Jack is going to be our moderator, and Jack will lead the conversation up here or initiate the conversation up here, but please know that there will be times in this program for you also to respond, and we look forward to your responses as well.